Most accounting firms I speak to hate pushy sales tactics, but on top of that, they just hate sales in itself. It's quite funny. Um, but the reason they hate it is because they're doing it wrong, and two, they're kind of bad at it. All right. No one hates, well, rarely does someone hate something when they're actually good at it. Most people don't like something just simply because they're bad at it. That's it, right? And I'm sure you've heard of objection handling and objections in general. Arguably, one of the hardest part about sales. But what if I told you you didn't have to objection handle at all and still close the deals? Would you believe me? Um, well, that's what I'm here to go through. Right, I'm super excited. Let's get started. So my name is Will Lekmus. I am the co-founder of Account Grow. We help accounting firms scale, and essentially, I have watched. Again, I say this all the time, like tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training programs. I've seen good salesmen. I've seen bad salesmen. I've learned from the best. I've seen the worst, and it I found this one trick essentially that if you can master this, you can stink at everything to do with sales, but still close loads of deals. It will literally do 80% of the heavy lifting in your calls. And this is from watching, I literally don't even know how many hours of sales calls and my own ones and taking hundreds myself. Okay, first things first, let's get one thing clear. Objections does not mean rejection. And rejection isn't necessarily a bad thing either. So think of it this way. Imagine you went to your wife and or husband and you said, I'd like to go get McDonald's. A rejection would be absolutely not, and they don't entertain the idea in the slightest. Like it's like absolutely not, definitely not, right? However, an objection might be, haven't we spent too much this week already? Isn't McDonald's super unhealthy, or isn't the drive a little bit far? They're not saying no, they're saying, I want to do this, but this is stopping from doing it, and I want you to convince me that it's worth it. So there's two types of walls, and I'm going to go through how we can avoid these objections in general. There's objections and there's obstacles. Obstacles come before the price, and objections come after. Think of objections like a ticking time bomb. Like if when you pitch someone the price, you're now on a timer to close them, because at one point they're just gonna be like, no, I'm good, and they just jump off the call, right? And think about it this way. Imagine I was selling you, and I love just giving examples because it really gets the idea clear. Imagine I was selling you a fitness program and I told you had to do keto, you had to do a 10K run every morning, and you had to eat broccoli. So first of all, you're like, okay, I don't even want to do keto, and I hate running. And not only do I hate running, but I hate broccoli as well. Then on top of that, I'm like, okay, now you have to give me $5,000 as well. So you have to do three things you don't like and give me $5,000. Like you just don't want to buy. But if I could tell you, okay, instead of broccoli, we did green beans, would you want to do that? Yes. Okay, if we, instead of the 10K run, what if we did just 10K steps instead, right? Or just some sort of replacement. Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be as bad. And instead of keto, what if we create you a specialized diet? You're like, okay, this sounds good. And then I pitch you, right? Now you've got the perfect regiment plan, whatever, right? And it costs $5,000. You're just like, okay, to get to my goals, it now costs $5,000. Instead of, I have to do a bunch of things I don't like and pay $5,000 to do the things I don't like, right? That's just how the brain thinks. So, what might that look like for an accounting firm? Number one, I'll give three examples. So, number one is I was just curious, right? You tell someone, how come you jumped on the call? And they're like, nah, I was just curious. I was just curious, right? Think about it this way: no one is curious. They have a problem. If you go to the doctors, you go to the doctors because you have a problem. No one goes to the doctors because they're like, oh, I was curious what you did, doc, just interested in you personally. No one does that. That doesn't make any sense, right? They only jumped on the call because they have a problem and they want to solve it, and they're hoping that this call will be that solution for them. The second obstacle that's really common is price. Now, especially if you're selling bookkeeping, which is quite commoditized these days, a lot of people will just compare you price for price. So you need to anticipate this and build the value beforehand and show that um, a cheaper bookkeeper is not necessarily a good bookkeeper. And the way you do that is by understanding what their current bookkeeper does, and if they're shopping around, and if so, what the other ones offer. Because if they're still shopping around, it means none of them hit the nail on the head. If I was trying to sell you fruit Imagine you were going around shops, you right, and you wanted to buy fruit. If you found the perfect juicy apple, you're just gonna buy it then and there. Or like if you were shopping for a phone, or you were shopping for I don't know, a chair. I don't whatever it is, and you found the perfect chair. Like, yes, that's a chair for me. You would not shop around for more chairs. You'd be like, okay, this is the chair I want it. I'm buying it now. But if you keep searching, it means, oh, I haven't found something that quite hits the nail ahead, so I'm going to keep shopping around. So you want to find out why they didn't move forward with the other accountants, what an ideal accountant looks like for them, and then when they describe what that ideal accountant looks like, bam, when you pitch them, that's going to be you. Sorry. Okay, the types of questions you can ask is if they aren't shopping around, but they've had a bookkeeper, is like, what does your current bookkeeper do? What's your biggest struggle then? What's something that happened that made you draw the line in the sand and go, I'm going to look for a new bookkeeper? You can ask questions like, what would an ideal bookkeeper look like? And they'll start telling you. And you can literally match your service to exactly what they told you. They'll be like, oh my God, this is the perfect bookkeeper. No wonder you told me what you wanted, so that's just what I'm presenting you. And if they are shopping around, you can maybe ask, what you've been quoted, what are they offering? Like, which ones seemed best? And then if you're on the closing, and you still haven't managed to convince them, in this case, let's say you couldn't overcome the obstacle, you can ask a question like, if me and the other ones were the same price, which one would you go for? If they say you, then fantastic, right? Tell them, why do you think I'm more expensive? And they'll be like, oh, because of this, 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 and that, right? And they'll think you're more expensive, then they'll just sell themselves on your offer, then you close them. But if they say, oh, I don't know, that means you haven't built enough value and you just seem like every other bookkeeper. And then there's some really big other questions you can ask to overcome the obstacle. How come you haven't decided to go with anyone else yet? Is there something they didn't offer which you wish they did? And, what could a bookkeeper do which would make them super valuable for you? And again, these can be offered for CFO or advisory services. And number 3, someone's been burned before. You want to find that out straight away. If their current bookkeeper stinks, what you want to do is make yourself different from the current bookkeeper. So the type of questions you can ask them on the discovery stage is basically the same as the ones before. What does your current bookkeeper do? What would an ideal bookkeeper look like? Stuff like that. And these questions are amazing because they dig out 2 obstacles at once. And when you come to pitch, you can just position yourself as the perfect bookkeeper because you already know what they want. It's kind of insane. I've only covered 3, but you get the idea. If you can dig up all the common objections you get before you pitch the price and just handle them as obstacles, then your closing rate will skyrocket. I have seen such stinky salesmen that were so good at digging up obstacles and so good at pain building that 80% of the heavy lifting was just done for them. It was nice and easy when it came to pitching the price because the guy was already sold. This is generally just the tip of the iceberg for the sales training we provide at Account Grow. If you'd like someone to generate appointments for you and help you close them at the same time, don't hesitate to book a call. Let's speak soon. And stay awesome, stay amazing. Have a good day.